Hello, Jordan. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Welcome to the Manifestation Queen podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today and welcome. I was going through all your stuff recently and I realized we have been friends for 2 years now. So, that is exciting. Actually, January 29th. So, our friendship anniversary is soon on 2024. So, it's been 2 years.
I saw a 222 on a license plate today, so that's a sign
Ooh,
too.
perfect. Yes. And yeah, I feel like it's just been such a great 2 years to build a friendship with you and really get to know you and just have such close proximity with you. And I wanted to just start off by saying how intelligent I think you are and how amazing you are and how everyone who gets to work with you is truly fortunate, and I'm so happy to consider myself as one of those people. As well as everyone else that you get to work with and who gets to experience you, because you're truly so intelligent and just a true expert in so many ways. And so I'm just so grateful and appreciative of having you on here today. So thank you. And I want to start by just saying a quick prayer to set the room and the space before we get started. So I will just start by, I like to imprint my water too. So let's just say a quick prayer. Thank you, God, for this moment. Thank you for every experience that led me here, that led Jordan here, and everyone watching who is meant to be here to hear this message. And please enhance and balance our clear channel to bring through every message that everyone needs in this moment, in perfect balance, daily miracles, perfect health, infinite abundance, and infinite wealth, in balance through mind, body, spirit, and soul. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so let's see. I wanted to start by saying, you are just so intelligent. I realized yesterday when you were talking on your live that you actually skipped from 8th grade into high school. So not only did you skip one grade, you went, how many grades is that? That's 8th to, no, no, no. Yeah, 8th straight. How many grades did you skip, Jordan?
Well, they call it transferred
Translate.
to high school from grade 8, and then I repeated grade 11.
Because I was like, you're just so, you absorb information and you are just so good at learning so many things and so many different symbolisms, esoteric stuff, and just really absorbing that and becoming the second nature. So I didn't realize you were so smart. I mean, I knew you were, but that was crazy. I've never heard of anyone skipping so many grades. And so now you've finished your bachelor's and your master's in psychology and you're working on your doctorate's degree. So I would love to hear about that and how that has been for you and how you started to blend all of them together, like the magic, psychology, tarot, and everything that you've done. How did you merge all of that together?
Well, thank you. What you said was very flattering earlier. And So part of that started, like, bridging psychology and spirituality started with a mentor that I had in high school in grade 11 that I met. He was an older man, like in his 70s, him and his wife. And he was a psychologist. And at his home, he just happened to live down the street from me. And I just happened to meet them one day while walking outside. And he was someone who bridged psychology and spirituality together.
Mm-hmm.
And his view was that spirituality is how we can keep evolving, but psychology is how we can heal the blocks that maybe are preventing us from evolving as fast as we could, or as deep as we could, or as much as we can. Because someone may have things that they are still healing from, which certain type of therapies in psychology can get at or get to,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe certain spiritual teachings are not able to get to. Uh, for example, if you have, let's say, childhood issues with your father, let's just give that an example, or your mother,
Mm-hmm.
parents, kind of general thing, just by meditating alone, you may not be able to kind of get at that stuff, the root of it, to clear it. Whereas if you meditate, but you also see a therapist or talk to a therapist about your parents or what may have happened or whatever the situation may be, that's very powerful because you're combining both worlds together. You get the best of both worlds and you can really evolve fast. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so how does I know you're really great with your tarot work and magic and all of your manifestation and I mean you worked directly with Deepak Chopra, and so how did you really, like, maybe in your own unique way, like how did you figure out that the most efficient way that built your style today?
Yeah, I think it starts with recognizing that we are a soul, or that you have a soul, because when you're healing your soul. And I think part of my thing is realizing that I'm a soul. I'm not just, um, I'm not what other people say. I'm what I say and what I discover about myself and my soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that healing takes place in the soul. Like someone goes to a doctor, a physician to heal their body, but someone goes to a psychologist or a spiritual teacher to heal their soul. And um, I think that I started to realize that more and more as I was healing things about myself that I went through. And I think that by finding your own individual voice and listening to yourself, your own intuition, you also start to come into your own, or your own unique way of doing therapy or combining spirituality. Because, for example, like you mentioned, Deepak, or people, I've had mentors, but I may have learned from them, but ultimately I had to like find my own voice and not just take what they said as the ultimate truth. I had to mix it together and take what resonated
Mm-hmm.
and leave what didn't resonate. But that's how you discover your soul, or who you are, your unique individuality, is actually through relationships, because it's our relationships that really evolve our soul. And it's through the mirror of relationships that you find your individuality, because you see, okay, what this person said or did, this doesn't resonate, or this does resonate, or I can look back and say, okay, I learned from this person, place, or thing, and what I took with me became my own, like crystallization of my own soul, like my own unique thing has emerged out of these relationships with multiple people.
Yeah, so I actually never really thoroughly thought about this. Like psychology is essentially working in the, you know, I guess for our health and stuff we think of our physical body, but we're really working on the emotional, mental and spiritual plane of things when we are really working with all of this, and then especially with psychology because it's something that we can't really see, right? Like the mind is so many different levels, and I think from what you were saying, it's like we're working on those three planes: the emotional, mental, and the spiritual.
Yes.
So cool. And so you said that we can go into some love stuff because I think you said
Mm-hmm.
that like bringing people together can bring up different experiences, and I know you are so beautifully skilled in the love and twin flames and soulmates. So I would love to hear about your thoughts and whether you believe in soulmates and twin flames.
Yes. So when I'm talking about the soul, so falling in love is an act of the soul. It's your soul that falls in love with someone. You fall in love with their soul. It's a soul to soul connection, or soul to soul attraction. It's like a soul mate.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, in order to have a soulmate, you're not just like in love with their body or their where they grew up. It's like you fall in love with their soul, so it's a soul to soul connection. um some people believe that twin flames and soulmates are different, or they define it differently.
Mm-hmm.
um when it comes to that, I do think it's kind of to each his own. Like, it's up to the person to decide what that means, like, because no one has dominance on like what a soulmate or twin flame is. Like, it's not a religion. So no one can say you can only have one twin flame, or just, it's more about what you experience and what you discover love to be through your own experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But love and relationships is definitely a matter of the soul. And without that soul depth or that soul connection, there's going to be an emptiness or a feeling of incompleteness or like lack of fulfillment. If you and that person, your souls are not connecting, it's like a soul to soul thing. The deep is where the real relationships stuff is at, is that soul connection. um, One of my definitions for sex is that sex is a sacred synchronicity between souls of souls. So sex can be two bodies going like this, banging, or it can be two souls colliding, right? So ultimately, you want to have the best of both worlds. Yes, the body, but soul sex is
Mm-hmm.
what makes it magic.
I
Yeah.
think you posted about like, what was it, like a battery effect or something? Did I see? Is it the battery effect? Or,
Yeah, I think you're referring to a thing because there's a lot of people that teach or say that when you have sex with someone, you're sharing a lot of energy.
mm-hmm.
So that you have to be careful who you have sex with because they can transfer their trauma onto you.
Mm.
Um, but that's not what I teach or focus on, because to me, there's a little bit of kind of like a fear based thing in that.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I look at it is, let's say that's true, that someone can transfer energy or trauma. Well, if that's true, then the opposite must also be true. Someone can transfer healing energy through sex, or their consciousness, or their vibration, or positive things, good things, soul things. So I think that's what you were saying, is that if you are in love with someone, you have sex, you can actually like supercharge their energy. Like, you give them, you're sending your energy to them, because sex is just energy too. So that's why they say sacred energy experience.
So good.
SEX, sacred energy experience,
Love
or
it.
synchronistic energy experience.
Yeah. And so I also heard you say that like gifts and like buying gifts for your partner or for someone out of love and like even marriage, like it's all, the exchange of the money or the exchange in general for pleasure is something that something that is for our pleasure, right? For, and it says it in the Bible. I think you mentioned a scripture too. But I wanted to hear your take on like love bombing and like people like over giving and like buying expensive things and showering you in gifts, and what your thoughts are on that. Because I don't believe in
Mm-hmm.
such a thing. I think it's totally necessary, and I think that you know I like extremes of a lot of areas, like all or nothing. So I'm like, if you're
Mm-hmm.
not buying a ton of things and professing your love, I don't really believe you. So that's my take on it. But some call it love
Yeah.
bombing, so I don't know. What do you think?
Well, my thing, what I say with that, sometimes jokingly, is I say, if spoiling the goddess or spoiling a woman is love bombing, then call me Albert Einstein, because um, it's like Albert. For people who don't get the joke, Albert Einstein created the nuclear bomb,
Okay,
so it's love bombing. So
got it.
um, basically, I think, one, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with giving someone gifts and things like that. I think where that comes from is certain therapists or counselors noticed that certain like predators or people who, let's say, had narcissistic personality disorder,
Mm-hmm.
they would buy people gifts early on to get something from that person and use them in an abusive way. So therapists came up with that term love bombing as a way to maybe warn people of a red flag,
Mm.
um, for certain types of like narcissist behaviors. But because they did that, kind of created this like fear in society or in culture that if a guy buys you nice things or whatever, that means he's love bombing. So it's kind of created this paranoia a little bit for women, I think, or people where
Mm-hmm.
they're maybe blocking themselves from receiving positivity or gifts. So my take is a little different. I think that um, any gift that you give a woman is a form of an act of goddess worship, of worshiping the divine feminine or honoring the goddess with honor through the gift. One of my sayings too is that you never approach the goddess without leaving an offering or without an offering. So people who go into a temple in India or even churches in America, you leave some kind of an offering, whether it's money in where you light a candle, there's some offering because it's a sacred space, it's a sacred thing.
Mm-hmm.
So by a man honoring a woman that way or things, it's not love bombing, it's alignment, it's goddess, it's awareness, it's actually like um it's kind of a requirement, I think, for a lot of women who know their value that if he's not, like you said, being nice to you or showing affection, then that's a red flag,
Mm-hmm.
not the love bombing. But I know where that term comes from. It comes from certain counselors in therapy warning people about like narcissists.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, spoiling the goddess, it's actually for men also a way of create being aligned with the universe because it's universe made up of masculine and feminine energy. So whenever a man honors the goddess or a woman, he's honoring the feminine, the other side of the coin of the whole entire universe, because the whole entire universe is made up of masculine and feminine energy. So it's a way to be in alignment, balance. It's good for everyone involved. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, there's like no, I think nonchalant effort makes you receive like nonchalant results. And I just don't think that life or love should be a nonchalant thing. So I think it's completely necessary. And I love that analogy. So I hope all the men listening are taking notes. And so let's see, what do you think about? Do you think that some couples become more powerful when they are together versus like alone?
Yeah, because love multiplies. So two people coming together with consciousness and intention can create more. Whatever you bring into it multiplies. Whatever you're bringing into any moment, you're multiplying because the law of attraction is basically responding to what you bring to things or put into things. You get more. That's why the in the Bible, the deeper teaching of Jesus saying, "To them who have, more shall be given,
Mm-hmm.
and to them who don't have or have very little, even what they have will be taken away," it means whatever you're giving to life, life is multiplying it automatically. If you're in a bad mood, it you may notice like you spill the coffee or da da da. But if you're in a happy mood, life's gonna take it and multiply it because the first they're called the cosmic command. Certain authors like Neville Goddard in the beginning of the Bible, where God created everything, He created man and woman. First thing He said was, "Be fruitful and multiply."
Mm.
So what that means at a deeper level is whatever you're putting out, like whatever you're doing, is going to multiply. If you think a worried thought or something, there's more thoughts going to come like that. If you think a positive thought, it's going to multiply. It's in the nature of things to multiply.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the laws of the universe, and it's the law of increase or multiplication. And that's why um, a lot of mystics talk about expansion and how everything's expanding. And it's also why no matter what experiences you're going through, one way to look at them is that they're leading towards more expansion for you, because it's the nature of the universe or life to expand, to expand, to expand, to multiply. So, yes, two lovers coming together can create a more powerful energy, because whatever you bring to this, like bring to life, life is going to multiply it. It's like Jesus with the loaves and the fishes. He took the bread and multiplied it and fed all those people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's
Yeah.
coming to me is like the life force. I feel like the life force, it's all about the like multiplying, expanding, and like creating more life force. Like life force breeds more life, you know? And so I love that. I think that that there's so much power in like the unity and coming together, the intimacy, all of it. And yeah, so it's really like manifestation in itself, right? Like the the coming together is the creation, the co-creation of whether it's like two people or a thought, an aligned action, or um, you know, anything coming together will create another thing, whether it's something in your favor or maybe some shadow stuff. But like either way, it's all in your favor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we can kind of go into some shadow stuff. I think that what I've been really focused on and grateful and appreciative of is one of the amazing connections that you created for me in my life. You're so good at like bridging people together, and like your psychic abilities, your intuitive like abilities to bridge people who are meant to like, you know, who I needed at that moment. And I'm sure you do this with a ton of other people where you send information just intuitively or different people. And so that's been something I've been working on, is like the grace of God, and just decoding like the Bible and really getting down to the original text. And so it brings me to my next question: is do we attract negative experiences in our life? And what are your thoughts on that?
Um, well, lately I've been going more deeper into that question because I feel like it's a little more nuanced than certain law of attraction teachers teach. Because um, Neville Goddard, for example, or certain teachers, they'll say that everything that happens to you, you attract it to you, you draw it to you at some level subconsciously, or there's teachings that say everything you're experiencing, you're manifesting, or everything you're experiencing, you created it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it can be a little more nuanced because certain people, let's say, have trauma. Like, let's say they had a parent who was um, physically abusive or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, luckily for me, that never happened with with me, but I know that's a common theme. But telling someone, let's say, who's been constantly physically abused or assaulted, or asking them, well, hey, why you attracted that?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you create? It's not necessarily helpful for that person to hear, well, why did you attract that? Oh, well, there must be something from a past life that you signed a soul contract to have a father that physically.
Or some
It
sort of
may,
karma.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's an area again where psychology and spirituality can be bridged more, I
Mm-hmm.
believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so a therapist would not say to someone, you attracted that. You attracted that abuse. You attracted um, that intense trauma, things like that. So I think it's more nuanced. Um, and I think there needs to be more space for us to really go into that question. Like, is that really true that we attract everything, including all those traumas? Um, I think it can be a little bit of a tricky conversation. I think it's something that the spiritual community and psychology community should maybe have a dialogue about or create some more awareness around that. I
Mm.
lately have been calling it trauma informed law of attraction or trauma informed manifestation because I think there needs to be a little bit more of a sensitivity for people who are going through traumatic things or who have gone through something because what can happen, the reason I'm kind of calling it into question a little bit is let's say you experience a trauma and you heard that teaching or you attract everything, it's something in your subconscious. If someone starts to take that on, it starts thinking, well, why did I attract that? Oh no, I attracted that because I must have some limiting belief in my subconscious
Mhm.
that's there that made me attract this trauma.
Mhm.
What can happen is the ego or the person can start blaming themselves. They can start having a negative feeling towards themselves, like that there's something they haven't cleared yet that attracted it.
Mhm.
Like it can, and those feelings are not true. And the soul, when I was talking about the soul, your soul or like what you would call God or grace or like the Holy Spirit within you or Jesus or all the angels, your guardian angels aren't saying, well, why did you attract that? Oh no, so we have to kind of be careful that we don't make people feel like they attracted these things and there's something wrong with them. And so I do think it's a little bit more nuanced. I think people are starting to go into that
Mhm.
whole question. I'm not saying that we don't attract things, but I'm not necessarily saying that we attract everything or especially negative things like that, like traumas.
Mm.
Some people believe in soul contracts. Another thing people might say is that, well, you must have had some soul contract before you came here.
Mhm.
Well, maybe, but then it's kind of like, do we really know for sure how? So I'm kind of in this inquiry phase around all that. That's not to say that I don't still teach or practice or believe we can attract prosperity and love and all the good things. I do believe that's true,
Mhm.
but I'm just kind of slowing down a bit and saying, maybe telling people who were abused or etc.,
Mhm.
hey, yeah, that happened to you because you attracted it. That might not be the best approach
Mm.
or the most compassionate approach.
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot in my work too, like even just, you know, my daily stuff. It's like when I'm posting certain things about the law of attraction, I always, if someone I know personally has been through something really undesired who are watching my stories, I often have thought about, okay, how do they feel when they're reading this? And, how does this apply to them during these moments? And it's almost like fate, right? Like, I guess it could be considered, fate, or
Mhm.
if we're like destined for these certain things, fate versus destiny. And then it brings me to Carl Jung's one of my favorite quotes by him: "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." So I would love to hear your thoughts on that and anything else you want to walk us down with Carl Jung and the Jungian theories and all of that work, because I know you love that stuff.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, first and foremost, he believed that the unconscious, where he differed from Freud, was that Freud believed that the unconscious was kind of randomly controlling things. Like if you had a dream about something, like Jung believed that the unconscious is inherently for you and trying to help you all the time.
Hmm.
Whereas Freud kind of believed that you might have the unconscious um, it's kind of random or almost like negative.
Mhm.
And so when Jung says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you'll call it fate. One thing he's saying is, if you become more aware of your unconscious, which means like the deeper parts of you, your potential, the more you bring that to light, you can create your best life. Um, but again, that quote can still maybe make people feel like, oh, well, Jung said, until I make my unconscious conscious, it's going to direct my life and I'll call it fate. Maybe that's why I attracted that trauma or that bad thing happened or negative thing. So it's still a little tricky,
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
don't believe that Jung in that quote is saying, be afraid if you don't figure everything out about your subconscious, because then you're going to attract all these things and call it fate. It's more him saying that the unconscious is positive, is trying to help you. And
Mhm.
the more you work with it by, for example, writing down your dreams or asking yourself, what is my passion in life, things like that, the more it's there to help you. Your unconscious is not against you or your enemy, it's trying to help you, is what Jung really was teaching.
Right. So it's essentially the individuation process, right? Like, where he talks about, um, in the first case, um, when the unconscious um, is not is nowhere intervene where it nowhere intervenes, the end remains as dark as the beginning. In the second case, so much darkness comes to light that the personality is permeated with light, and consciousness necessarily gains in scope and in insight. So
Mhm.
what I've been thinking about is like really, even with Abraham Hicks, the emotional guidance scale, it's like when these things, trauma or any undesired circumstances occur, the more that we, feel guilt and shame and try to bury them or to hide them, or, just feel really on those lower emotions, the more that it kind of um, gets buried, I guess. And so the more that we can kind of be conscious of them and bring them to the light, um, then we realize that, it's more comprehended and it's not ruling us, I guess. Maybe you can help me out here. But I think that, you know, I feel like the things that we're most shameful of are really like hold so much power. And then we realize like it actually can help people the more we talk about them or the more that we get more familiar with them or allow them into that light. We realize that we're not alone in that and that we actually have so much in common with people who have been through them or we can kind of help them through something. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that perspective.
Yeah, because healing trauma is a form of shadow work, or doing shadow work, because you mentioned shadow work earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like bringing the trauma out to be healed, to be processed, to be integrated. And um, even though I'm saying I'm not sure if we attract everything or we attract our traumas or it is from a soul contract, I still believe that if a trauma occurs, you can heal from that. The trauma can be healed. I do believe that. And I believe there's research that shows that as well. And two, that you can gain from every experience and you can use the experience to become stronger and more resilient, and that it can be part of your soul growth and your evolution, and that you can alchemize it and
Mm-hmm.
transform your pain into your power, and you can become a better person through it. And it's part of what psychologists call resiliency or resilience. And it's actually a mystery to science what resilience is, because they've studied people that have been through things, and psychologists are actually trying to figure out, why do some people get over things or are able to bounce back when something happens. and they actually don't know yet. It's
Mm.
kind of a mystery, and I believe it comes from the soul.
And so, what do you believe? Like, what do you believe is coming from the soul when they are more resilient than others, or vice versa?
Um, I would believe that the person would have some feeling that everything can be used as part of this, like they're very devoted to the spiritual path, like continuing to grow, to draw close to God no matter what happens. So if someone goes through a trauma, their love for God, and by God I don't mean necessarily someone in the sky or religious thing, but source, God, whatever that means to you.
Mm-hmm.
Someone, and oftentimes if someone goes through something, that's when they start drawing really close to God. So that's part of that resilience. The soul is like, okay, I need to pray, or I need to like really draw close to God. Or some people, that leads to their awakening journey, or they become more serious about their spiritual path, or they think, okay, what's really important now? So it's something about dedication and devotion. It is part of that soul's resilience. Like, even if something's happening, you still love God, or you're still dedicated to spiritual growth or
Mm-hmm.
enlightenment or
Mm-hmm.
truth or growing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people look at trauma as like a fuel, like they get more serious, more on fire for God, more on
Mm.
like fire for the spiritual path.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
okay, yeah, this happened. Okay, yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah, like an
let's
act.
transmute that.
Yeah, like an act of
Yeah.
love. And I'm thinking too, when you're talking like of the alchemical process, it's like, you know, even in science, it's like one thing can be mixed with the other thing, and then it can create a whole other beautiful, strong, whatever, something that was maybe, um, you know, so completely different or more beautiful, or like a diamond or whatever it is. And so, yeah, and I think too, what else? Let's see. I was going to say, oh, the devotion. Like, it's like the act of love. I think that we get like so much better results. Like, even when I go to the gym or just doing daily habits, it's like when we're acting out of love versus discipline, that is like such a crucial game changer. And it's just a beautiful way to view things, and to, kind of like a life hack to completely take the hardness and the discipline out of things, and act out of a love, out of place of love and devotion. So
Mhm.
yeah, what I wanted to talk about next is prosperity, abundance, and attracting lots of money, on a psychological level, and then also, um, how how tarot has impacted your clients' relationship with money and with wealth, or even your life.
Um, well, with money, when you talk about psychology and money, I really like Reverend Ike's definition. He calls it knowing your financial psychology. Certain people call it your financial blueprint or things like that. It's basically the way to tell your financial psychology is however you think, feel, and behave or act towards money or anything involving money. So it's always wise, I think, to really go into how do you feel about money? Like if someone wants to manifest more prosperity, but they're worried about their bills or they have worries around money, they do need to work on that, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, if they want to create more abundance and prosperity, because a huge part of it is psychological, and huge part of abundance or manifesting money is psychological.
Mm-hmm.
Huge, because there's people who have a certain amount of money, but let's say they have $100 million in the bank account, but they're worried about money, or they're cheap, or it's
Mm-hmm.
psychological.
Mm-hmm.
So the first place to start with money is the mind, and looking at how you think about money. What are your thoughts about money? Because not only is it good to find out how you think towards money, but realizing that your mind is your money maker. So the richest men in the world or women, Their businesses, they're occurring billions of dollars, started as an idea. It started in the mind. The mind is the origin of all things. Um, it created Zoom, it created YouTube, that were people are watching us on YouTube. Well, that started in the mind, but it's worth billions of dollars. So your mind is your moneymaker. And that's why it's good to consult your mind in meditation or prayer when you're by yourself and just ask your mind or your subconscious, hey, I know you can come up with amazing ideas for money. I'm open to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be open to, if you want to send me an idea and a dream this week of how I could make more money, or you want to, I'm open to some idea coming through. So when it comes to manifesting money, the mind is key, and realizing that your mind is your moneymaker. And you could come up with $1 million ideas. And that's why it's good to clean your mind out of any negative beliefs around money. Like someone, and your mouth too about money, what you're saying. If someone's saying that's expensive, that's a lot,
Mm-hmm.
eliminate that kind of stuff, because um, those are blocks. Those can block money because words are powerful.
Mm. So would
Make the
you,
sign of the cross as I say that. Examples of it.
yeah, and would you consider this type of magic? I know you talk a lot about magic, and would you consider what we just kind of talked about? Would you consider that magic with a K?
Yeah, yeah, I would consider it magic, and also knowing that there is such a thing as money magic.
Mm-hmm.
Some people refer to it as abundance magic or prosperity magic. And for example, the richest person in the world, Elon Musk, he became rich through magic. And the reason I say that is because when people asked him, what inspired you to get on your path? He said, I read a book, and in the book, he read a quote. And in the quote, he said, the quote, the quote said, the most advanced forms of technology become indistinguishable from magic. Okay. So that magicalness, the magic, is what set Elon Musk off to become the richest man in the world. And also Jeff Bezos, when he formed Amazon, the first few months it was not actually called Amazon, it was called Abra, based off of the word abracadabra.
Mm.
So when we look around at our side, we see the richest people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. Magic played a part in that, even if it was inspiration or that quote hit, triggered something in their soul or their being, a resonance. So yes, I believe you can use magic to manifest money. I believe in money magic.
Mm. Yeah, and I think even it's like even our creation, right? I would say like it's magic in itself, right? It's like the just creating life in itself is a miracle, magic, you know. We can call it a few different things, but I love believing in magic, and I know magic is real. So, what is one thing that you want the collective to understand about magic, psychology, and manifestation?
Well, for example, with money, um, money is magic because money is creates experiences. So if if you use money in a conscious way, knowing full well that okay, this energy or monies can allow me to create an experience. Like if you want to travel to Paris or you want to create an experience with your family, or in order to have that experience, you have to pay the person or the business or the flight money. They're not going to allow you to walk in out of the store with the Chanel purse for free.
Mm-hmm.
They'll call the police, right? So money is literally what creates the experiences. And the purpose of money is to create joyful, pleasurable, fun, and good experiences, rewarding experiences. And one of the definitions from wealth that I heard the other day, it's really good, is wealth is how you choose to enjoy yourself. So um, when you create beautiful experiences for yourself, you book yourself a massage, you do what you love to do, that actually draws more manifestation, more money to you when you use money for pleasure, to feel good, to love yourself.
Mm.
Any act of self-love with money multiplies it. So that's a secret people can use. And whenever you use money, if they just say within themselves, thank you, money, for this wonderful and beautiful experience. I'm really appreciating this. I'm really going to enjoy this Italian food at this 5-star restaurant because I know that you're creating the experience. I wouldn't be able to walk into the restaurant and walk out without swiping the visa or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to so many more, so much more beautiful experiences with you because you're magic. You're helping me create all these experiences. So um, that's what I would say about that. And you can create a magical relationship with money the more you appreciate it. And when it comes to magic, you can do magic. Magic is real. And magic mostly is in the mind and what you believe. Your mind is powerful. So whether you believe in astrology or you carry a lucky charm or you believe in crystals or whatever, the power is not in those things. It's in the power you give those things. It's in your mind. If those things like tarot cards or anything helps you feel better and empowers you, then that's good. But really, the power's been in you all along.
Mm.
Power is in you, and yeah.
Awesome. So I think, yeah, I feel like it's like money was kind of just created, right? Like it was like a thought form, right? Like the forms that we give thought creates the physical, just kind of like the two things coming into unity that create the final result or the current result. So I think that's such a great way to put magic and miracles. I think are essentially the same thing. Wouldn't you say so?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and so let's see. I have here esoteric versus exoteric, and I would love for you to explain the difference between those two. It's a little random, but I think it might go hand in hand with what we're saying. It's like the esoteric and exoteric. So I would love to hear your thoughts on those two things.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Bible is a great example or case in point because the exoteric, those for people who don't know, the words exoteric and esoteric, the word exo means outer,
Mm-hmm.
like the almost like the surface or the outer circle, but the ezo means inner. So a lot of spiritual teachers refer to the exoteric interpretation of the Bible or literal,
Mm-hmm.
and then the esoteric or deeper mystical interpretation of the Bible. So, for example, when Moses parted the Red Sea and the water did that and he was able to go through,
Mm-hmm.
that's if you esoteric would be like taking that literally, that he literally parted the sea. Esoterically would be what obstacles in my life is God removing, or my God power, or what seas am I parting right now? So esoteric would be seeing the deeper teachings in things than just taking it literally. Like the Bible can be, and not only the Bible could be astrology or physics or
Mm-hmm.
things. There's always a deeper way of looking at things, and that's the esoteric.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Bible, when it talks about um, David and Goliath,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's referring to maybe a literal person named David and Goliath exoterically, but a deeper understanding of it is whatever your current obstacle is or challenge in your life is your Goliath, and you can slay it.
Right. So it's a deeper meaning underneath.
Yeah.
Right. That's such a great way to think about it, and you do such a great job at blending all of these different theories and insight in a deeply insightful way. And I just am so honored to be a part of it. And I just would love to hear about what you're working on currently and where everyone can find you, what is coming, what's exciting. Tell us everything.
Well, there's a lot that I'm working on. I am working on some books. Um, I'm working on my PhD to be a psychologist. I'm in school to be a clinical psychologist. Um, I'm working on designing my own tarot decks. I'm looking to bridge psychology and magic together. I'm working on a book about healing.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the themes we talked about earlier about trauma and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on books about twin flames, divine love, romance type books. I'm working on myself. I'm doing there's a lot of things cooking up.
I can't wait to see all of it. I feel like you said, it's something that is really needed to bridge that gap between the law of attraction and the manifestation world, and also the more of the shadow work, and also not by taking authority away from us, but really bringing that all into harmony and to find some sort of happy balance to help people thrive and really, you know, step into their brilliance simultaneously. So that is something that is so exciting, and I cannot wait to see all of your beautiful work. So can you just tell us where everyone can find you, like your social media platforms, and how to book a reading with you and stuff like that?
Yeah. I think the main way would be my Instagram. That's my most popular page. It's 135,000 people that follow me on there. It's just Jordan Flesher.
Mm-hmm.
And to get in contact with me, they can just send me a DM or a direct message on my Instagram. And they can ask about a tarot reading or counseling or therapy or relationship coachings, twin flames. I do all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
You are unboxable.
Unboxable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multifaceted, unboxable, celebrity, intuitive, and just a true expert in every way. And I'm just so grateful and appreciative of having you today, Jordan. So thank you so much for being here. It was truly impactful, and I know it's going to impact everyone that needs it in this moment. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everyone, thank you for watching, and I will see you again next week.